Hello, this is Frederick, 24th August 2024. It is important to understand this is something maybe others had come through similarly. And it is important that in this part of the world there is strange things going on. And this time it is better to explain it in English. The other videos should be of interest to those people in this countryside, but as politics had developed the character, it is rather, I think, unfortunately, because people came out different than me, maybe not to expect it too much. Unfortunately so, because it is the history and the work of forefathers, and that is not too far gone. This is the Foreign Legion. I myself had a real special honor. I was a minor, 14, 16 years, and I had invitations because of things that were valid from the perspective of the people in their own law basis system. And this is something of importance to understand that different there's the Magna Carta, that is mostly, or Carta with C, or similar, and then there is the law system. Then there is the law contracts and differences to interpret. And that is culture, and it is that what had come out because of their experiences or practice. And now I'm myself working as a detective again. It is not my business, it is the state of analyzing and saying what could be there. It is not finished. This is my mother. She had quite detective work, but she never said so. It was normal to look very precise and even to look from other perspectives and to have questionings, interrogations without the people understanding. You want to find out things, and this is not something illegal, it is not even dishonest, it is dishonest from the opposite side. It is honesty where you can explain things. Sometimes I understood people can't do so, and this was with the Foreign Legion. I cannot judge, therefore, if it is this or that. I myself saw it was an invitation where I stood then. There was a row, not too many people, I think 2 rows. And I myself was a replacement commander for very short to look if I would fit in that position. It was the idea that there would be a leading position for me, and this was worldwide. But now, and it was said so, but it was said with it that it is not sure if the new time would give me any chance. My mother, she was a teacher, and her life calling was not security. She was a little bit trained to take heat, for example. That is security as well. And this is something in the medical field. If there is an inflammation, even a little one, take care. And this is Foreign Legion as well. For Legion, that is special forces. It is not too much about to be foreign, or to, it is international cultural differences. And I was interested because many with German or Germanic roots had been there, and because of that I was explained better not to tell. There had been the very own father, and then the people that sometimes I did not fully understand. I would have then be in the position to tell if I understood there was something going on. I didn't know, and I was educated not to say too much to things that were of some critical character. He was in a rank, and this was special, but then someone else who was in the rope party could have taken it even to others. For me, this is me, myself, and the father, and I'm the only child of my mother, planned. It is really their planning, not that I was somehow thinking. It was rather duty to have my parents, and their life calling should, if it is possible, it was left free to me, but it isn't in that regard that you are free. You are free, but freedom is to understand what is necessary if you knew everything. That kind of freedom gives you freedom, but you have your goals by being raised by, in this case, by my special, unique parents. And this is without any ancestry. That was not, there was an ancestry, but it because of the turmoil, I thought, later. And this later did never happen. There was some beginning, but now I understand there could be people wanting to defend themselves, and therefore building up false grounds. And those false grounds are dangerous. There's several things not fully clear. There is the false accusation. I would be after medicine, not allowed. I always was raised to be my own doctor, and therefore you need things, even you don't take it, to have it in your house. And this is the regulation. The world knows that some are regarded as being potential drugs. You could make it out of the basic things. I'm not too much into it. The basics are already given me as information. It was the Foreign Legion, a special force, not the only one, and there was training from the let me say company of my fathers for the Foreign Legion, and this is a special position. Then you have a rank, and it was training across the borders, so to speak, but the borders were not there anymore. I was invited and therefore understood it is a special honor, and it was for me calming. He still left in combat. It was the 80s, 70s, 80s, and false grounds could be medicine, orders. There already was an invitation by police. I gave a written statement to it. I don't know if that is solved or not. Then some technical equipment is alarming. Postal orders, and the stuff could then be manufactured to something. And this, in my sight, is maybe necessary, maybe not. It is something fishy, of course. And then there is the false diagnosis, where it is said by some, and then the diagnoses are vanished, but maybe some have notes and revoke the stupid ideas. There are like fits of rage. And this is medicine talk. There is affective disorder. And this is, of course, very, very alarming, even if then it is not there anymore because of written complaint and it gives you much work. And then there is, of course, something else. Then there is my searching for ancestry, and there is the German Reichsbürger. Fear. It's a fear. I'm, of course, not a Reichsbürger. Reichsbürger wants to destroy things and build up new ones, but if I ever had met some Reichsbürger, I never had recognized them, but they could be there. The RAF, the terrorist organization, if it was as communicated, later it was said it was foreign intelligence, but RAF is terrorist organization, and then there are others. This isn't there anymore, but strange enough, it is said there had been pastors' daughters running wild from the religious, and this is, of course, the next. There is religious stupidness or else. People, even teachers, were falsely, because I'm tolerant. I could talk and even support some points of those called Scientology. This is, in my view, a good idea to find an ethical group, but how it is gone or how it is developed, I don't know. And I gave some counseling as a boy it was, and believe it or not, I was between 13 and 16 years. I wasn't there alone. I was in the company of businessmen or lawyers traveling the world. And this time I had the idea to talk about it, but then I did it immediately. Therefore, my hair is not combed. This is a survival mode. Normally, you won't talk about it. This is something in the development, in the background, and this is really there. I'm not wanting to accuse the Western. This is Western style, but maybe there is DDR or UdSSR strategy. There had been, as it was told, some centers, those knew each other. It is from of old, St. Petersburg and Ukraine and Hungary, and those are not hungry for anything. There were two of them, and it was in the Austrian Empire that the think tank there was controlling the think tank in I don't know where. And this is old storytelling, but not, I must say, it is important, because if I knew of it, I would be not only obliged, but then the false system would send maybe some prudent detectives of the state. I myself was asked by the police system, because my mother gave it to me, she was asked. It was training of police dogs. There are several Deutsche Schäferhund stocks. And then there was the division to the North American one, and there was the Eastern German and the Western, because of the Iron Curtain and so on. And this was something that was explained to me. My mother was not the character to do so. She was too nice. The fellow students had tricked her, and this was repaired legally. But the legal system of the West, if it is with the so-called DDR, I had met some very prudent and sober characters, but it was said there are others. Sometimes it was then explained, and this is all from inside knowledge of my mother, who was allowed to say so. It was the Wehrmacht's knowledge. Those people were not allowed to talk to each other. But I was a young boy, and I was interested because my father was expected. And if he had come, I thought, I'd lost then so many years. he should not warm up. He should have me ready to start and to give me the education I expected all my life, and even now. We all had been sensitive nerves, and this is important, for the leaders. I had left the combat idea, but for your defense it is necessary to understand things. Therefore I was with the Alone in the Wilderness, where the specialities of my father's group in the world. He was a Special Forces founding member, and then there was help for all the prudent. It is regardless of their religion. There was, of course, misunderstandings. I'm not on the American side if it goes to trick people, but I'm on the American side if it is the prudent there. And the complaint came from Arab people, and understood some complaints were true. I couldn't do anything. If I would later be a leader, those understood, but it was not about money. It was always thought that this is a rich country. And the problem was money, but it was, of course, something you don't tell. And I'm not someone who wants to play in the Western style, the DDR, or UdSSR, and this is now in the United States somehow. It has not been there, this thinking, not that UdSSR is, and even in the UdSSR, it is, from my experiences, the case there are these and those people, but you are not allowed to go into politics of a country. Therefore, you understand when you talk to people, you have learned. If the others want to know you, to be introduced, it is a talk where you give away your character, and this is important. I look for people of character and who are prudent. And there I had myself the wisdoms of Solomon. And then I had the question from those of other religions, and I said, yes, of course. If there is a wisdom system, it is sowing and reaping. And it is the logic to understand of what kind is the other. But the Western style, the DDR strategy, this is then officially not there. It is officially not there, but there had been this trick somehow being played. You understand there is something going on, but the system is a law system. There are judges, and those have to judge according to the files. It is no other way. The helpers of the judges are police. And police is, of course, having their own methods to understand. And there could be errors. Their own methods to photograph and then put it in a box, photograph something, or to ask for accounts, oral accounts. And there's the problem, of course, with the filtering in the head of the witnesses. But if you have that seen every day from the newspaper, in your education, there is much assessment going on. This is education that you understand. If you sometimes have then a point where you work with a result in the merchandise field and so on. But in politics, as it is in the interior politics, there is then, of course, the problem if the police has false grounds. And this is medicine with me. This is a problem. Too many false grounds. Medicine, order of stuff. And this is, of course, something I understand politics want to regulate. You can manufacture things from, if you know to do so. Therefore, it is forbidden to have a laboratory. Not in every aspect it is forbidden, and you are forbidden to wear a walking stick, but it is of course sometimes stupidness from politics to forbid everything, that at the end you're only allowed to have a knife. The only knife that is allowed that has 7 centimeters, a blade of 7 centimeters. This is officially in Germany. And this is, of course, it is then something to explain. If you are there to work on wood, or if you're a carpenter, of course, then you can have something longer. And this is a thing I myself are critical about. But I cannot change it. It is the system. But with me, there's medicine, order of stuff, and then the religion that I do not even have. But it is talking, it is rumors. And then it is building up the eyesight of the police files. And then this is of course something you could ask for, but I was not explained anything. This is the problem. Right now the problem is, what do they do? And police is not only police, it is the city, it is the Rentenversicherung, it is a Krankenkasse. What have they in their files? Are those people giving me the right files that I can know what is going on? No, they don't do it. Because one time I get this edition, another time I get this edition, and I won't go there. I have learned the system, how it works. It was better before the DDR than had its government people being distributed all over Germany. And then the whole system of psychiatrists were distributed. It was the saying, we have enough for the next 40 years. There was a vast amount of state psychiatrists from the DDR. And those are giving judges insight. Not the clergymen of old, they had it been clergymen. This is not the case anymore. It is psychiatry. Psychiatry is giving input to judges or to the police. And this is very difficult because the expectations from politics are, we want to know who is in our country. If there is someone with strange ideas, we want to know it beforehand. This, of course, is something you can then, this is forbidden, and you are not allowed to have any stuff that could be made to a drug. Stuff is forbidden that could be made into drugs. And this, of course, is interpretation. This is the problem. Possibility of interpretation, but understanding religion, what else? The field of bank and money. And now it is being, in my detective thinking, it is being prepared somehow to give me accusations that I would have known to be not liquid anymore. And this in German is dann Privatinsolvenzverschleppung. It is not true. I could get loans by the bank, but is there politics having contact with banks? Is it the case? Then this would be illegal. But there is nothing. There is nothing. German is my main language. This is not a problem to explain in English, but I can't do it as well. Working as a detective on my own case, and then having in the medicine strange ideas, even trying once and again to give me a bad name because of my character. I'm a descent of military. If Germany, there is no Germany in my eyesight, on my perspective, there is a federal republic. This is of course the only thing that is there. Therefore others call it Germany, but for me it is the Federal Republic. It is an administration system. The Federal Republic, if it has not the division of forces anymore, if it goes to and fro, there are forces, Gewaltenteilung in German. Also it is now German. The accusations sometimes are not as a prophet, pre-seen. You can expect if something is going on with political ideas against me. It is possible to use medicine. It is possible to use my habit of treating myself. This is a human right, to have a free treatment of yourself. I can, of course, go to the doctor with inflammation in my wound, but I'd rather not do it because of something over the years. Over the years, the reason why the Allied troops had own doctors, own hospitals, that is something. Ask them yourself if you could do so. And religion, of course, there had been sects like the Colonial Dignitat, the very strange and with stupid leadership, a very strange religion in Chile, and there had been money being taken. It was legally. He is in this part of the world somehow illegal from one point on. And then he was there, and some were glad he would move to some else country, and gave him money as investment to Chile. What if he is considered he is not. I'm very tolerant. I talk to people from the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not a member of the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I want to be taken seriously. I'm not represented by any group, not by the Brüder, not by the Brethren, that is the Brüder, and not by else. And with a bank, I should be eligible, or I should have the allowance to have a loan. I need 5,000 euros. This should be possible. Without, I cannot pay my bills, and it is very critical right now. I'm not asking for something without having the reason. And this I communicated. When I left New York, the United Nations, they are working for someone, officially as a secretary or something like it. For me, that is not of importance. I could achieve good results, I think, and on other occasions I did the same. But I do not work for the applause of people. This is with circus men. I'm not a gypsy, not a circus man, but I'm tolerant, and I thought I had some respect. I gave them and I received. There is not Moldavia. This was a wishful thinking of US diplomats, and not the other, Ukraine and so on. But feeling responsibility to everything that I could help to get to better state. This maybe had given the idea I would have taken over responsibility. It is something, be careful. This building of false grounds is somehow going on, and this is now 24. And this is Federal Republic. And I'm not a member. There had been pre-talks. I'm not a member of any house. Not Hanover. There were pre-talks, but I had never become a member. This is a contract, a building process, and even the possibility to change it, to have special contracts on. Not member, because Hanover is then in the house system of Windsor, of Hanover, not of Hessen. And this, of course, is something I do not want to have, that there are problems, because politics are very critical with the treatment of nobility. I don't know if there's reason or not. Maybe a building of something like it. I'm not in the least interested to come in between, the front lines. This is in English, nearly fully in English, to let you understand. This is a serious case where there is nothing exploding right now. Even this treatment in the assessment center, that was for me a breaking of my human right. But it was on false grounds that police can say we had it from others. The judges, of course, are even more clear. We did everything right. But there are little faults. But I'm not going after those little faults. I'm seeing the big picture that at the end, politics want to slaughter some. And I don't want to do it. I'm not behind any members. I don't know them. Hessen and of Hohenzollern and so on. Yes, of course, not of Prussia. There were pre-talks. There was someone who shocked me. He said he's a friend of Mrs. Merkel. And if someone says he's a friend of politics, it is not about her. I don't know this lady too much. She played too nice. I don't like that. When I myself am going to assessment and to then later negotiation, then it is with a prudent who do not hide behind others. And this I understood is too often the case in this system, in this political system. If you then do not want to hide behind others, you ought to know them. Therefore, what is missing, what I would do better is detectives. Prudent detectives. And there, the most important is the understanding to have grounds, good valid grounds, not from one side, not from only one and the other, but from that many sides, so to speak, to have a camera who is not photographing only, but who is using wavelength. This long-known military technique, it is from people from all over the world. It was collected and not put into place immediately. 1899, I always say, and this is for some fairy tale, and therefore I say it is fairy tale, but it isn't. I'm not arguing with people who are not able to understand that this theoretical thinking, that what you perceive is only what your wavelength gives away, this is important. And I had, as a boy, talks with Mr. Einstein himself and with Mr. Werner von Braun, not too much, but those were only some people of a system that was prudent. Of course, the belief is important to understand how they behave in critical times, like the Third Reich. And this is then forensic. That is important. I was there when the USA had, no, not the whole USA, some people there, had built up, I do not like to see people or countries in boxes. There's not only one label, and my heart is US, no, first Germanic, then US, and then there could be other countries. I had some talk with an Austrian man. He started to talk about Mr. Stresemann, and I did not understood what it was about. But my mother said, no, he wasn't Mr. Stresemann. First, he was not even telling my mother anything. My mother, she was from a system that was not Karl's system. Karl was a counselor. And then there were traps. And there were traps from not the whole British system, but by some of them. Therefore, it was communicated, and this is fairy tales, because I've no ground to know it. If I knew, and those really, I went after those information, I understood people are working, it is normally to work illegal on the gray field. But nevertheless, this is illegal. Why are 4 years now, me asking from 2020 to 24, 4 years? And this could be, in German, a Verschleppung. This could be an illegal stopping the prudent to find good forensic documentation. There could be a tampering going on, and this could be from both from 3 sides, from 4 sides, and this is now about the Foreign Legion. Because I understood, I was asked a thing, but I couldn't say if he was Papa. I had a holiday Papa. What is Papa? Is that I was at that age? What is a foreign country saying Papa? Is he a pedagogical man, like a father in the church? He, of course, is not your legal father. And there was the Foreign Legion of much interest as a witness. This is very much of importance because I want to hinder that those things going on, and there are many of them. There are rats running through the garden. And it is very strange. You are, by law, obliged to prevent pest in your garden, but on the other side, a rare rat is protected. This is really true. Die Hausratte, the house rat, is protected. You're not allowed to harm her. But if neighbors then call the pest control, and this had happened, this is not, this happened 1 year ago, half a year ago, and those climbed beyond the fence and put it on the ground with some stupid patchwork. Brothers and sisters, what could people say? I do not know if those are patchwork, because those are different. What is the legal standing? I don't know. This is question. The legal standing, and people would come and then accuse me I had not said it earlier. This is stupidness. If I had done so, those medical files would be opened in the background, and my saying he is stupid, he is not even recognizing his siblings anymore. You understand? All my witness accounts could be with the medical, with the behavior in treating myself, with the strange, I'm not in a religion, but being even being sympathetic because I'm tolerant. Helping those from the porno business does not make me someone I would abolish it immediately. I would immediately abolish any red light district if I had to say, but I can't do so because I myself am bound. I wouldn't want my brother or sister working in the red light district. Therefore, but I'm bound on human rights, on the basic law, and people have the right to do such a thing. But understanding there was help by my mother for someone working in the red light district. Can you accuse me? I should have said so before. No, I'm not allowed to say anything. And I don't know if those are patchwork. This is questionable. And since when can you give it to others? There was someone from the US, the White House, who said, if you have any doubts, please call me. Have I doubts you want to hear? One time I was there, it was said, no, this is too early. You understand? People are securing themselves. I cannot call there. What can I say? I can only say what I'm now giving in the open. This is for me something I did not even understand. If people were 100% sure, is he my papa? He is behaving like a papa. He is educating me. He had the trust of my mother. He was carrying the name, the Foreign Legion name, of Freddy. There is a name he had. But if he was not my papa originally, this is not for me to decide. I can only pass on what I myself heard. And this hearing is very important. There is, of course, stress. I feel stressful because understanding this is something very evil. There is the judge, Then he has input from police. He has input from psychiatrist. Then he has input from DDR, false input, of course. No, not necessarily. Then he has input from Allied. What are those people, and this is the judge, what are those people doing? Those are securing themselves. But if any of them has 10% fault, you will never get at them because it is behind closed doors. And then there is politics, making it, blowing it up. Are you sure you want to have it, that the freedom is behind closed doors, being blown? It is about freedom and righteousness. And there had been someone in the White House saying, if there is something, please call me. I can't, because he wants to have it ready to go to court. What can I give as 100% sure? You have everywhere 5% or less. That is not. And then, what is with the diagnosis from the psychiatrist? It is gone. What do they say? Oh, it isn't that dangerous. We give you €5 per day. I said, no. You had to sign then. You had to sign then that you never talk about it. And this is the most evil thing going on. That is the quietness about things, and you are not quiet, false quietness. Because people are drawing the devil on the wall. They blow it up. It is very dangerous. Then the Windsor and the Allied system isn't working, isn't being credible anymore. I'm not saying that. It is about single people there. I cannot say it for all the US. Those are only after money. I myself did it this time, very quick, not to forget what I wanted to tell you. And this is important for all those who are after freedom and righteousness. And righteousness is even more important in this regard. But freedom, for me, it is important. I want others to be free. Therefore, I'm tolerant. Psychiatrists and the others. Now, the religious, forget them. I was never a group member. I was with my mothers, but not a group member. But there could be done harm. There could be done harm. And this is uncut, and even being a stutterer, by definition, being a preborn, there is everything okay. I'm a healthy child. I was always said by my parents. Mother one, no, yes, I don't know. Mothers, 2 mothers. I cannot give a rank. And I'm unfortunately separated because of knowledge. Not, I have no sympathy. And there was a total different being raised. And this is not their fault, but it is maybe those are not even asking, not even listening. Maybe those are in the regulation of what? Political. Please leave politics out. I don't need it. I only had disadvantages because of politics. It was promised from the White House, from someone in the staff, give a call if something is going on. But what can I tell them? My whole account will be blown by judges, and this is federal Germany, police, psychiatrists, DDR was inside the Stasi. I had to have Mr. Honecker, but I'm not a member of his family. There was someone in Chile, and he called himself a brother. If he's a believer, from that standpoint, he's a brother. And please take very good care that you do not misunderstand. Brother is not like brother. Do not misunderstand that, please. And there was asking from Switzerland. And everyone is saying, yes, he was sometimes with us. And then those want to give the order of false quietness. And this, what I'm telling you, it is allowed to speak about. I had been invited with the Foreign Legion. This gave me very good opinion about them. Those were still honoring my father, even if he was long gone. But what is with the others? Are those my uncles? Because those were somehow like brothers to my father? Were there Fritz Johann as well? No, his name in the Foreign Legion was different, but he was someone in the training. He trained people, special forces. And the training goes to all those fields, policing work, psychiatry of the military, of course. Stasi is legal. There are honest people, but no, of course not everyone. And the whole worked with excuses. I do not follow those excuses. I'm tolerant, that is all. And I got in trouble because I said I understand some viewpoints of the Eastern thinking, and I'm still on that demand that I'm allowed to do so, to understand people who have another standing. If someone wants to get me no, I'm allowed to get him no as well. And this I liked in the USA, that you have not a higher standing because of your ancestry. But if there's an ancestry, this is interesting. But in Europe, this is with rights, but not with me. And this could be illegal. It was not given me. But I cannot blame the houses, not the Hessen, not the, I don't know whose names those carry, Hanover or Braunschweig. I don't know any. Maybe I've seen them twice or four times. Maybe not. And then I was in Austria, but I'm not a member of the House of Austria, not the member of the House of Metternich. This is very important. I'm not a house member of Metternich. Those said we can put you as a member because we want to do so. This is very strange, but maybe in Austria it is allowed. That you are drawn into something if others want. No, this is not a house member of Metternich. I was interested. And I'm still interested, but not in this whole setting. You see, there's nothing being blown, but it could blow up, and therefore I need your help. I do not want to be busted again. And this is critical. And the date of today is 24th. In 24, this is the year 2024. And this is very important from me. It is important because others regarded me important. And this has nothing to do with the ancestry, but this is important for my ancestors, and therefore it is important to me. My motivation is very much supported because of my mother and my father, and Papa as well. And in the next I want to show you other things, but this is about the Foreign Legion, and that I learned my father, my very own rightful, direct biological father. I am a planned child. My mother, she paid doctors, and this as well, I want to know. Where are those payments? It should have been worth 3 times a house. I don't know what house. This was only a fairy tale, and then it was revoked. I don't know why it was said you are born here in this city and nowhere else. And then the next said it. And the next. But now I understand. I can trust. My mother, she was hushed up because people said she was having dementia. This is not right. But only understanding, I myself can only understand it at this point somehow. It is dawning. Please help me to dawn it even more, to make it sure. Thank you very much. This is Friedrich. And you could ask me in German, this is the main language, or in English. Vielen Dank. Sie können auch in Deutsch fragen. Dankeschön. Tschüss.